Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about the cardiac cycle. The cardiac cycle is simply the series of events that happen between one heartbeat and the start of the next. Before we talk about the cardiac cycle, let's do a little recall on some terminologies used in the heart. First of all, do you all know the notion that they say the left side of the heart is on your right hand and the right side of the heart is on your left hand? Why is it so? It's simply so because in order to uniform knowledge, scientists came up with a unique position that whoever that want to describe any organ should describe the organ in that position. The position is simply the position that you're seeing on your screen. The position is the person organ that you want to study. The person is facing you, and meaning the left side of the person is on your right hand and the right side of the person is on your left hand. The organs on the person's left will be on your right and the organs on the person's right will be on your left. That's why the person's left side of the heart is on your right hand and the person's right side of the heart is on your left hand. To do a little recall about the heart, the heart is divided into two sides, the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart. The right side of the heart is made up of two chambers, the right atrium and the right ventricle. The right atrium collects the oxygenated blood from the body and send it onto the right ventricle, where the right ventricle now pumps the blood through the pulmonary artery to the lungs for oxygenation. Meanwhile, the left side of the heart is made up of the left atrium and the left ventricle. The left atrium collects blood through the pulmonary vein and send it onto the left ventricle. The left ventricle now pumps the blood through the aorta to all sides of the body. The left in between the left atrium and the left ventricle is the bicuspid valve. In between the right atrium and the right ventricle is the tricuspid valve. And the valve found inside the pulmonary artery and the aorta are called the semilunar valves. The different type of circulation, humans have what is known as the double circulatory system, meaning that the septum separates the right side of the heart from the left side of the heart. The right side of the heart deals strictly with the oxygenated blood, meanwhile the left side of the heart deals strictly with oxygenated blood. Firstly, the oxygenated blood from the blood that has already all the oxygen has been used from the body will be carried through the vena cava to the right side of the heart, and the right side of the heart will pump the blood to the lungs for oxygenation. Once the lungs oxygenate this blood, the lungs is going to send back the blood through the pulmonary vein to the left side of the heart. The left side of the heart, the left side of the heart then pumps the blood back to the whole body. So in the double circulatory system, blood passes through the heart twice for a complete circulation. It passes first this first time and it now passes again the second time. It passes through the heart twice for a complete circulation. We have other circulation like the single circulation, the open circulation, and the closed circulation. This is simply the same summary of all what we have already been discussing, like the atrial systole, atrial diastole, and ventricular diastole and ventricular systole. So all what you need to know here is in the cardiac cycle, you need to know two main words, which is the you need to know two main words, which is the diastole and you also know about the systole. Diastole is simply the relaxation phase of the heart. Any portion of the heart that is relaxing, we call that diastole. Meanwhile, any phase of the heart that is contracting, we call that systole. So the different events that will happen between one heartbeat and the start of the next, we are going to have in this time interval, we are going to have some phases where some structures are going to contract that we are going to call systole, and we are going to also have phases in which some structures are going to relax that we call diastole. So let's look at the different events that will happen during this heartbeat, during one heartbeat. Before we look at the different events that happens during one heartbeat, do you know that the heart is myogenic, meaning it is able to initiate its own contraction on its own and contract, meaning that if you remove the heart of an organism and place it in plasma, the heart is still able to contract for some period of time before it dies. Now, how is it able? The heart has this network of nerve cells, called the sinoatrial node. These nerve cells are able to generate impulse. When they generate impulse, the impulse will spread across the two atria, and the two atria will contract. When the two atria contract, this other structure known as the atrioventricular node will detect the impulse that the atria has contracted and is going to transfer the impulse through the bundle of His to the left and right bundle branch, and finally to the Purkinje fiber that will spread around the ventricles, and the ventricles will now contract. So you might also be asked that how does the heart control its electrical activity, or how the electrical activity of the heart works? You simply say the heart has a series of nerve cells at the right atrium. These nerve cells are known as the sinoatrial node, which are able to generate impulses. We call that the pacemakers. When they generate this impulse, the impulse spread across the two atrium, and the two atrium contract. The contraction is detected by the atrioventricular node, which then passes the impulse through the bundle of His to the Purkinje tissues, and finally to the ventricles where there is contraction. So if you understand this clearly, it simply means that the atria contracts, it simply means the sinoatrial nodes initiate the contraction, it spread over the two atrium, the two atria contract, the AVN now detects that contraction of the atria and then now spread the impulse along the ventricles for the ventricles to contract. If you understand this, then it means you understand the fact that the atrium will contract first. After they are finished to contract, the ventricles will now contract on their own. So you see that when the atrium are contracting, that's atrial systole. When the atrium are under systole, the ventricles are instead under diastole. Now, when the atrium will finish to contract, when they are relaxing, when they are entering diastole, that is when the ventricles will now start entering systole. So let's look on the different activities that happens in the heart during atrial, diastole,